Are you having a hard time teaching your dog to sit, cutting their nails? Or how about expensive trips to the vet when your dogs are sick, throwing up, or have diarrhea? Don't worry, I got a few helpful hacks that I incorporate that can help you with that and more. Welcome back. I got some tips and tricks for those of you with fur babies. Today's video is all about dog hacks. So I also have to throw out there that I have created a pet planner. Never forget the last time your pet got vaccinated or the last time they had a checkup, their weigh-ins and their medications. You can keep all of that information in this one comprehensive pet binder. I created this just for pet owners. I use it for myself and I found it so helpful to keep everything organized for my pets. It's a printable PDF. You can download it and print it out as many times as you want. So if you're interested, I will leave a link below in the description box as well as in my pinned comments, or you can just go to shopangelgrace.com and find the pet planner. Okay, so let's start with cutting your dog's nails. So there are a few things you can incorporate. I have had dogs all of my life, ever since I was a little bitty kid. So you name it, I've done it. I've had maybe 5-6 dogs in my life. I currently have 2 dogs. One is a small miniature pinscher and she's 13. And I have another boxer mix, which is a big dog, and she's 3 years old now. So I definitely have quite a bit of experience with dogs. I'm not a dog trainer, by the way. I'm just literally a dog parent. I've been a dog parent for decades. So hopefully these things that work for me may work for you. Let's start with cutting your dog's nails. So for the longest, I used to take my dogs to the groomer to get their nails cut. Okay, well, one, that can become expensive when you have dogs for decades. And then 2, with my small dog, they were always, every time I would take her, she was screaming and hollering and coming home with bloody nails. And I'm like, okay, it's painful for her, it's painful for me. What can we do to make this less painful on the both of us? Because I was just a nervous wreck taking her, because who wants to have a dog coming home with bloody nails? And now she's so afraid of getting her nails cut, because one of the vets told me the reason why is because she has long blood veins. The blood veins that are in dogs' nails, so they're called a quick. And her nails, they were long, and people were chopping her vein, and they was like, that's why it hurts her, and that's why she's so afraid of getting her nails trimmed. And so that's why she was screaming and hollering, because of that. And so having to explain that to every groomer, you know, her quick is really long, and you know, it was just overly burdensome. And it was also just a nervous wreck in general, because I didn't want them hurting her. Who wants to get their nails cut and get hurt? You know, it's like well, you know, when we accidentally bend our nails in the middle of our finger and you know it's inside our skin, it hurts. It literally hurts. So who wants to go through that? I know I don't. So it's the same with your doggy. They don't want to go through that pain. It hurts. So I had to find a way that I could get their nails cut without being painful for them or for me either. And so what I came up with was, first I tried cutting them myself. I couldn't cut, guys. The cutting wasn't working for me. I was a nervous wreck, okay? But I did find some tricks that actually work. And one is using a scratch board. So I make it a game with my dogs. So in essence, what I do is I take a clipboard and I add some sandpaper to it. I've used this quite a bit, so it is torn some. They've used it, I mean, usually a piece of paper lasts maybe 4 or 5 rounds. You know, and I use it both on my small dog and my big dog, and I'm gonna show you in just a second. But yeah, all it is sandpaper on a clipboard, and I make it a game with them. I tell them, do you want to play scratch? I gotta kind of be quiet right now, because if they hear me, they're gonna come and want to do it. And so I taught them how to scratch the board with their paws, and I give them treats. So they love it and I love it too, and believe it or not, it works. This works. This is like a super duper nail filer. So if you can imagine your nails and just filing them down, I mean, it takes a little bit longer than it would to just go and chop them, of course, but it's the same thing, but it's less painful. And since it's a game with them, they love to do it over and over and over. And what I like to do is, as you start to file their nails down, their quick decreases, it lessens, so you get more space to work with for filing their nails down. And this is great to do every few days. And now if they get out of hand, which my dogs, yeah, I'm pregnant, they get out of hand, I will say that. But if you just come back and start doing it every few days, it'll gradually file them down. And so let me show you how it works with my 2 dogs. All right, let's scratch. Scratch. Oh yeah, good girl. Good girl. One more time. Scratch. Scratch. Good girl. Good girl. All right. Good. Up. Back paw. Good girl. Ears up. And back paw. Yeah, good girl. And what I also like to double this with, I also have found a super quiet nail grinder that works for both my dogs. And Aries, my big dog, she's super scared of noises, and some of the other things did not work, but this one in particular is quiet. It's way more quieter than all the ones I've tried and had and went through. This was the only ones I could get on my dog's paws without them trying to bite me. Literally, they both, the small one and the big one, let me use this grinder on high on their paws. So I will leave a link to this one below in my description box. I got it from Amazon. I'll leave a link, and I'll also show you how it works with my dogs. Lay down. So, since we're on the subject of grooming, I might as well keep going with the whole grooming thing. And let's talk about brushing their teeth. Okay, so brushing their teeth isn't always an easy job. So here are some things that I do to help me out to keep their teeth clean. One are these. These are greenies, and they're the dental treats. This one's for my large dog. Now my small dog, because again she's older and she's had like teeth problems in the past, she's 13 now. So I found these, which seems to work really well with her. They're called brushless toothpicks, and they are softer than greenies. So greenies are very hard. They're great for dogs with sharp teeth, like my big dog. But because Grace's teeth she's older and they're not as strong, these are softer. They're kind of like Cheetos, you know, a little bit harder than our Cheetos, but that's how they're shaped, that's how they look. And they're made for senior dogs. It literally reduces bad breath, and it does the work for you. And it's helpful for dogs with gum tenderness and or missing teeth. So yes, it took me a while to find something for her in particular, because the greenies were just too hard for her. But these work really great, and I got these from Amazon too. I will leave a link to these below. But yeah, so this makes brushing your dog's teeth a lot easier. Give them one a day, and there you go. And here's another little hack for keeping your dogs groomed and smelling great, as well as keeping your house smelling great. So I keep pads in my house. These are wipes. These are wipes in a baby wipes dispenser, as you can see here, and these are actually water wipes. They're 99% water. They're usually for baby wipes, but I use them for my dogs. I have tried so many different dog wipes, guys. I mean, you name it, I've used it, I've tried it, but honestly, some of them has so many different ingredients in them, but the water wipes is 99% water, and it has a fruit extract, and they have not broken my dog's paws out, and they're made for super sensitive skin, so it also works well for them. And so I use this like in my pet's bathroom, or when they're coming from outside. I wipe their paws off, because a lot of you ask me, how do I keep a clean house with dogs? And that's a big dog included. This is one hack. This is one way I do keep my house clean, because I keep their paws clean. And yes, you see that white room behind me? Aries lives in that room. She loves that room. She gets on furniture, she lays out, she lays on the rug, which is also white. And you wonder how we keep it clean? This is one way. Buy some wipes, keep them in your home, and wipe your dog's paws off. It will save you a lot of headache and pain. Got sick dogs? Yeah, nobody likes dogs that's throwing up and diarrhea. My dog had both at the same time. Both was puking and throwing up. Yes, I've been there, I've done it. Guys, let me tell you, there are 2 things you can do when your dog is sick, and one vets recommend, and that's give them plain chicken and rice. Cook some chicken and give them plain rice, white rice, not brown rice, and that helps them, their stomach, to cool down, and it's easy for them to digest. Now, this is what I also recommend, and ever since I have used this, it has hands down saved me tons of trips to the vet, tons, and literally knocks out the throw up and the diarrhea at the same time. And that is this product. Guys, this is the holy grail. This is pumpkin puree by a brand called Authority. It's a digestive support. When I tell you, I learned about this maybe a year and a half ago, and it was through another word of mouth. So I was in the store looking for something because my dog was sick, and someone came up to me and asked me what was going on. They was like, you gotta try this stuff. It's only $1 a can. And at first, I didn't believe him, so I bought this plus some other stuff. But I didn't need the $20 bottle of stuff that I bought. I took it right back because I didn't need it. This knocked it right out. Knocked it out. So I've used this on both my dogs, and this is great also when you're changing dog foods, because you know sometimes their digestive systems are so sensitive. So when you switch their dog food, it upsets their stomach. If you put a tablespoon of this into your dog's food, your dog will be just fine. Switching up the food would not cause them a problem, and I've done it a number of times. So I highly recommend this if your dog is sick, if they're throwing up, they have diarrhea, if you're switching dog foods, all of that. This will save you a lifetime of cleaning up poop and throw up and making random trips to the vet because of a sick dog. Grab you a lot of these and keep them in your home. You can thank me later. And I got these from PetSmart, and if I can find a link for them, I will, and I'll link in the description box. So since we're on the subject of sick dogs, if you have a dog that has undergone surgery, I have a great product for you, especially if they've been cut and it needs to get covered without them scratching and pawing, and that's this little thing. This is a Velcro shirt for your dog, and honestly, I've went through a lot of things with my dog. She had surgery recently and half her body was cut. So this, when they have to get stitched up and you don't want them able to scratch their body, or you don't want to get dirty or infected, you know, from going outside, these come in really good handy, and they're made out of Velcro, so it's easy to go on, and you can make it as tight as you want, and the Velcro is what you want. You don't want the buttons, and especially if they've had surgery and trying to button up and do all of that, or tugging it across their skin, you know, putting it over their head and pulling it. You don't want that. You want something very easy that you can lay on there, and literally you just snap it with this, and they're good to go, and it stays on. They cannot take this off, and my dog loves taking off clothes. Every time I put it on her, she takes it off. They can't take this off. It's super strong. The Velcro on this is super strong. Like, I highly recommend this if you have a dog that's had surgery, or you just want a piece of clothing to put on them to you know, protect them, protect their body, protect their wound and their stitches. Highly recommend this, and I got this from Amazon, and I'll leave a link below as well. So a few more hacks for things related to feeding your dog. So one, if your dog is a fast-paced eater and they're just chomp the food down and you're so scared that they're gonna choke because they're eating so fast, a few things you can do. Break up their meals. I do that, and we still do it. Now that my dogs are better, like we used to have to break them up into 3 different feedings. I mean, they've gotten better now, so we do about 2 separate, but we still keep it separate. So instead of doing, you know, your 1 feeding at 6 o'clock and then 1 feeding at 6 p.m. or whatever the case may be, so we break it up. So the first feeding, instead of doing 1, we would do 3. We would literally just break it up into smaller amounts of food so they can't choke on all of that food. And then another thing you can do is get a slow feeder. I've gotten that for my dogs as well, and it definitely has helped my big dog to slow down eating. And doing the combination of cutting up the meals into smaller amounts plus the slow feeding worked great. Neither one of them has choked. So hopefully those hacks help you, especially if your dog is a fast eater. Another feeding hack is if you have a dog, like I said, I have an older dog with, you know, sensitive teeth, and she needs softer food. What you can do, and what we do, is do dry food and just add a little bit of water to it. It softens the food right up. You don't have to change the brand. You don't have to go get the expensive soft dog food. And yeah, you can continue getting that dry food, the one that works great on their stomach. You know, don't stress yourself out. Just add a little water to it. Now let's talk about getting your dog to sit. How many have that issue? Yeah. I'm gonna show you 2 tricks. One, to just get your dog to sit without a leash, and then I'll show you how you can get your dog to sit with a leash. So without a leash, what you can do is literally hold a treat, and until your dog sits, just continue holding the treat until your dog sits. Eventually they will sit. They will get tired, they will sit. When they sit, you hand them the treat very quickly. So say the word sit and hold the treat until they do it, and they'll get it. So, and then you have to practice that over and over and over. And they will eventually associate the word sit with the action of putting their rumpers to the ground. Also, another idea, you can do it with a toy. It may work for some dogs, it may not work for others, but it works for my big dog, so maybe it might work for you. You just hold a toy and you continue holding it and tell them to sit. And then eventually, if they sit, you give them the toy. That's how it works. It's a training process. So you do these practices over and over, and your dog will learn the word sit and learn how to sit. I also have a training worksheet in my pet planner that's available on my online digital store. It's a digital download, and you just print it out and you can keep track of your training and your progress. So to get your dog to sit on a leash, the main thing to do is literally you stop. You say the word sit to your dog and you pull up on the leash. Now, pulling up on the leash does a few things. It cuts off their air supply, one, because it's pulling them on their neck. So they're gonna just go back, usually automatically, and sit on their bums. As soon as they're sit, release the leash so they can breathe. But I learned that from an actual dog trainer, so that's not me. Learned it from a dog trainer, and it works like a charm with a big dog. Don't choke your dog, of course. Let's not do that. But just gently pull up on the leash. The last helpful hack I really love to incorporate in our lives is having my dog supplies near the door. Yes, it makes your life so much easier. You can find what you need. It's right there by you. You ain't gotta go searching all over your house. It's right there. You can get what you need and go. So I keep a big storage container on my foyer table. It's a decorative storage container, so I can use it year round and it doesn't really mess up my decor. But inside the storage container are all my dog supplies. Dog leashes, dog collars, dog bags, you know, whatever we need to take to go on our dog walks. It's right there by the door, so we don't have to go searching all over the house. And it's not hanging and, you know, making clutter, you know, on your walls. It's stored, it's tucked away, it's hidden, but it's a functional hack that doesn't mess up your home decor, and it also doesn't mess up your clutter. I hope those hacks help you. If they do, be sure to give me that thumbs up, as well as drop me a comment and say hello. Let me know what type of pets you have. Tell me a little bit about them. I'd love to know if you're having issues. You know, maybe something I've done in the past may help you. It, you know, it may not. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in my next video.